Today we begin with Elizabeth Terry in Savannah. She demonstrates making dough in a food processor used in individual tarts filled with oysters and country ham. The entree is prepared by Philippe Boulot in Portland, Oregon. He coats a Chinook salmon fillet with pesto and serves it with a tomato and spinach Napoleon. Finally, from St. Paul, Minnesota, Ken Goff cooks a dessert, white chocolate custard poured over fresh raspberries and garnished with a dark chocolate sauce. The appetizer is prepared at Elizabeth on 37th in Midtown Savannah. The gracious chef owner, Elizabeth Terry, has won virtually every serious culinary award out there. In 1997, she won the Savannah Plates Cuisine for the Southeast region. Today, she cooks oyster tarts with leeks and country ham.
Just have the Cuisinart. We'll put in flour, a little cornmeal, which adds to the texture and the flavor of the crust, and diced butter. Want to be certain that it's cornmeal texture. We just mix it until there's a ball formed in the food processor.
Cold water was added.
Take it out of the food processor. I just knead it once, just so that it'll form a nice clump. You don't want to overhandle pastry. And that's ready to go. It does need to chill. We'll sprinkle the board with a little flour. You can also roll this in between saran wrap or parchment paper. Roll the dough really as thin as it will go, turning it just once or twice so that you're certain that you can get it off the board. The little dark specks that you see in the crust are from the cornmeal. Turn it once more so that I'm certain I can get it off the board. Yep. The cornmeal also helps make the crust nice and crispy. Well, just lay the crust, press it into the form, and we need to prick it so that it doesn't, so that it holds its shape with the fork, and that just goes on a baking sheet.
Bake the pastry at 425 degrees for about 10 minutes. The filling begins by sautéing country ham in butter.
I can add the thyme now also because we really want that nice country ham and thyme flavor. I just want to sauté the country ham a little bit until it sizzles, so that'll take just a minute. You want to brown the ham just a little bit. There's a little bit of fat around the edges of the country ham. I've trimmed that off so that this is really very lean. Deglaze the pan with a little sherry. Do you want the fire? Yeah. Add just a pinch of flour. the heavy cream. The oysters. These oysters have been drained, and you can use the broth for another recipe for a soup. And then leeks. We use the white and green parts of the leeks. Just a tiny bit more cream. Just cook the oysters until the edges begin to curl and the leeks will just soften a bit, but still keep their bright green color. We'll pour the oysters into the pastry shell or spoon the oysters into the pastry shell. One on top. I'm going to add a little minced fresh tarragon. I don't like to mince herbs too fine. I like to see what they are. And I always add fresh herbs at the end, such as tarragon. And then just decorate the plate with a little pepper sauce. This is green pepper sauce and red pepper sauce. And that's our oysters with leeks and country ham.
Philippe Boulot is executive chef at the Heathman Hotel in Portland. Born in France, he attended a hotel and catering school. Then, after compulsory military service, began work in a long string of hotels. He also cooked at the famed Maxime's in Paris. His entree is roasted salmon with pesto crust.
So you have a fillet of salmon. This one is a Chinook salmon, wild salmon. It's called also king salmon. So we season it, salt and pepper. I keep the skin on, scale, and you have to take the bones here, pick up all the bones, and there's none anymore. We season it, salt and pepper. And now we do the pesto crust. So we put bacon, ground up bacon, applewood smoked bacon. The pine nuts, basil, chopped up basil. I'm going to keep some, maybe a bit too much, like that. Breadcrumb. Garlic, chopped up garlic, Parmesano, splash of virgin olive oil. You take cold first press olive oil, something really fruity and spicy. Let's blend everything. Spread it on the salmon. It's easier to use your hand sometimes. what we have to do after is to cut portion. Like a 7 ounce, 8 ounce portion. We reserve that for something else. We color the salmon in a Teflon pan. We're going to serve it with an onion relish. The onion relish is made out of red onion, sweat with a little bit of olive oil. We add some lemon juice, we reduce the lemon juice. We add grated ginger, garlic, capers, chopped cilantro and parsley, and we let it cool down, season it, and that's going to be the sauce, red onion relish. We're going to serve it with sauteed spinach, layered by oven-dried tomatoes. So thin slice of tomatoes, sprinkle with coriander, thyme, salt and pepper, and we dry them in the oven. At 200 for 2 or 3 hours till they are totally dry like a wafer. So let's do the dish. Teflon pan, touch of olive oil. I like to color the crust because breadcrumb and the parmesano melt and give it a crispiness. And if you try to bake it completely in the oven directly, you won't have this crispiness and coloration on it. When it's colored like that, we slice it in a normal pan, up. It goes in the oven, nice coloration, kind of a crust, and we bake it in the oven at 400. After that, I'm going to saute the spinach. First, I'll take a little bit of shallots. It's more convenient for me to blanch the spinach because it takes less volume, but if you have raw spinach, properly washed, that's a good time to saute them. For the recipe, we're going to use blanched one. Okay, so to build up the plate, I'm going to use 3 wafers of oven-dried tomatoes, like that. And I use panis. Panis, it's like chickpea flour cooked with chicken stock, flavored with cumin and coriander, salt and pepper. Cook it really thick to a good paste. Whisk it really well to give it a good body, to bring the gluten. And layer it in a sheet pan like that. Cover it with oil pepper. And when it's really dry, it's like a type of polenta. We cut it in little square. Roll them in cornmeal and fresh thyme. And we deep fry them. be the little Napoleon of spinach. I like the flavor of the oven-dried tomatoes. It's kind of spicy and it's really concentrated. Some onion relish. We serve the salmon. This one is a bit raw, but like that, on top of it. And voila.
Ken Goff is from the Midwest and proud of it. At his popular Dakota Bar and Grill in St. Paul, the menu often reflects his Scandinavian heritage. It's not unusual to find lingonberries or gravlax served alongside hearty meat and potato fare. Here he prepares white chocolate custard.
I'm going to cook a dessert that's nice when fresh raspberries are in season, tasting really sweet. It includes, it's a custard, and in the foundation is white chocolate, which the recipe requires to have melted. And you want to do that over hot water, not boiling water. It's somewhat delicate. After we melt that, we're going to melt a mixture of whole butter, bittersweet chocolate, and a small amount of corn syrup. We start by whisking one whole egg very thoroughly. And to it, we add just a little bit of sugar. It doesn't take much because the white chocolate is sweetened. A small amount of grated zest of orange, and really just a little bit of vanilla extract. On this burner, I'm going to scald some heavy cream. This doesn't work the same with milk or with half and half or light cream. It's easier to make with the cream. For 6, 2 cups of cream, 1 pint is enough. Our white chocolate is almost melted, and it won't take very long for this cream to scald. You don't want to boil it, just heat it up good. 150 degrees is all right if you have a thermometer. Our cream is where we need it to be. We're going to temper in some of this, maybe half or so. Mix it well. And then we take that warmed egg mixture and work it in little at a time to the white chocolate. If you pour it in all at once, sometimes it'll want to get lumpy, even though it will look like it's seizing up a little bit when you first start. Don't worry about it. The remainder of the scalded cream is stirred thoroughly in You don't want to use bruised fruit for this because the juice will flow into the custard and it won't set properly. So make sure you use all whole fruit without any juice clinging to them. And they're ready to go into the preheated 200-degree oven.
For 30 to 35 minutes.
Careful getting them in. You won't need to be quite so careful wringing them out. And you can just drizzle some bittersweet chocolate over the top. A leaf of fresh mint if you like, a fresh pansy is nice.